It was meant to be a calm evening, just a quiet family dinner with a handful of familiar faces. My parents, her mother, my younger sister, and the woman I once thought I'd spend forever with. The table was set with polished glasses, a roast steaming in the center, candles flickering as if they could force warmth into the room. I handed my dad a drink, ignoring the acid turning in my stomach. Then she arrived with him. He was tall, smug, a few years younger than me. The type who wears arrogance like a tailored suit, meant to be noticed. Without waiting for introductions, he strutted in like he belonged. "Evening," he said with a grin, dropping into the seat beside her like it was his place all along. My mother froze mid-sip. My father glanced at me, confused. Her mother smiled politely, likely assuming he was just a coworker. That's when my wife stood and shattered the air. "I have an announcement," she said firmly, drawing every eye. "This is Jason. He's moving in with us." The silence thundered. Jason gave a pathetic little wave like some prize reveal. And then she smirked. That cruel, mocking smile etched itself into my mind. I scanned the table. My sister's jaw slack, my father's face hard as stone. And me. I smiled because unlike them I already knew. For weeks, I'd been gathering proof. Strange charges on the card. A perfume she never wore for me. Work emergencies. That always happened on weekends. That hotel key card under the passenger seat. Then the photos, the texts, the voicemail where she whispered his name. But I stayed silent. Because tonight wasn't about betrayal. It was about justice. And this dinner charade was just the opening act. Jason sat there, basking in the awkwardness like it was a standing ovation. My wife clung to him, glowing as if she'd scored the lead in some twisted romance. She watched me, waiting for a meltdown. "Here, please." Instead, I rose and lifted my glass. "To bold moves," I said smoothly. "And unexpected company." The room froze. No one knew whether to laugh or leave. I didn't care. The discomfort was part of my design. Sarah let out a shaky laugh. Jason raised his glass, clueless. "Cheers, man. No hard feelings, right?" "None," I replied with a thin smile that burned my jaw. He truly thought I'd roll over. I excused myself to the kitchen. My father followed. "Son, what is happening?" he asked low. "I know," I said. "Give it a day. Trust me." He studied me, then nodded once. He saw it, the cold resolve in my eyes. While Jason shoveled chicken and Sarah giggled beside him, I had already set the pieces in motion. Lawyers retained. 70 grand moved into a private account. Hidden cameras installed, one capturing them in my garage. Copies of the deed to the house I'd bought long before the marriage. And Jason's shiny new job. The one Sarah bragged about. He was already standing on a trapdoor. 2 days later, I walked into the kitchen to find Jason guzzling the last of my orange juice. "Morning, champ," he said, wiping his mouth. "Hope it's cool. I used some of your cologne. Big first day." I smiled faintly. "You start today, huh?" He nodded proudly. "Senior analyst. Madison and Knox. Sarah's amazing." That amazing job. Nothing but a mirage. A fake role crafted just for him. Within hours, I was in a boardroom with Marissa, the real HR head, and an old friend. She slid me a folder packed with his posts, her messages, and garage footage. "He'll be gone by end of day," she assured. "And it'll be loud." By 3 p.m., Jason was being escorted out with a cardboard box of leftovers. By 4, his LinkedIn read, "Open to work." And by 5, Sarah's panicked voice cracked through the phone. "Did you do something to Jason's job?" she demanded. "I thought you said he was more successful than me," I replied coldly. "Strange, isn't it?" She fell silent. Heavy, suffocating silence. That evening she tried sweetness. Cooked my favorite meal. Wore the perfume I used to love. Suggested we talk it out. Let her. Mile. Nodded. Let her pretend it was salvageable. She didn't know the accounts were emptied, the cards cancelled, the car already scheduled for repossession. Every move made legal, precise. Not chaos surgery. The final blow landed the next weekend. Jason, still jobless but clinging to bravado, decided to throw a house party. Sarah agreed, likely hoping to flaunt her victory. She thought she was winning. She didn't realize the collapse was already in free fall, and I was still holding the matches. She broadcast our mess on Facebook. Fatal mistake. That night I didn't stop the party. I let the laughter echo through the halls of the house that was mine. I let them drink my wine, mock the life I'd built, and strut around like they'd won. Because the real party was waiting for morning. They woke to boxes piled outside, a crisp eviction notice nailed to the door, a document clearly stating this property was no longer under their control. Sarah gasped in disbelief. Jason puffed his chest, trying to look tough, until my real estate attorney arrived and calmly spelled it out. Because of the early separation I'd filed, the house had been transferred and sold under my name alone. Sarah had no claim left. "But this is our home," she whispered, stunned. "No," I said from the doorway. "You were guests. Now you'll have to find somewhere else to stay." I handed her a flash drive. Inside were screenshots of her chats, audio of Jason mocking me and bragging about stealing a wife, hidden camera footage, and a detailed list of bank withdrawals marked clearly as her fraud. On top sat a note. "This is what your parents and mine will review at dinner tonight." Her face went pale. Jason lunged for the drive, but I sidestepped, letting him stumble. I walked out, passing the locksmith who'd arrived right on schedule. Later that night, Sarah's sister texted, "What happened?" "She's losing it. Our parents are disgusted." I can't even look at her. I didn't answer. I just posted a quiet update. Sometimes silence is the loudest revenge. And silence spread fast. Comments flooded. Sarah's reputation crumbled. Her family couldn't face her. Jason, once smug, turned into a broke drifter with nowhere to go. A week passed easily for me. Peace for me. Ruin for her. She ended up at her parents', who barely spoke to her. Jason vanished after his car was impounded and his partner abandoned him. Worse, he'd used my name on a shady crypto deal. Now the police were circling. I didn't gloat. I observed, patient, because one final move remained. It was raining when she showed up at my office. No call, no warning. Just soaking wet, exhausted, in clothes that didn't fit. "Can we talk?" she asked softly. I stayed silent. She poured her heart out. "I lost everything. I trusted the wrong person. You were the only one who stood by me. I know I don't deserve it, but please, help me get back up." Her voice cracked, her eyes red. My tone stayed level. "You didn't just betray me. You tried to erase me. You wanted my house, my money, my peace. And now you want my help." She trembled. I leaned forward. "There's a difference between mistakes and becoming a monster. You chose the latter. Now you live with it." I slid an envelope across the desk. Inside, her signed waiver of spousal support, a letter to her employer outlining her misconduct, and a printout of her post mocking loyal husbands as needy. "You want mercy," said. "Sign. Leave. Maybe then I won't make life worse." She signed in silence. I walked her out. That night, I ate dinner alone in my new apartment. Warm lights, quiet air, a meal I cooked and truly enjoyed. My smile wasn't for her downfall. It was for reclaiming my life. 3 months later, my world was different. New city, new job. I was consulting for a nonprofit helping people escape toxic ties. One morning, sipping coffee on my balcony, I received an unmarked envelope. The handwriting revealed it instantly. A wedding invitation. "Jason and Sarah invite you to celebrate their love." I laughed so hard birds scattered from the railing. Inside was a note from Sarah. "I'm trying to heal. You were such a big part of my life. Maybe we can be friends again. Please come." There was no anger left in me. Just a quiet laugh. She hadn't changed. So I mailed back a package. Inside, the deed to a beach house I'd bought with the sale money, a photo of me with my new partner. Steady, kind, everything she wasn't, and a yellow sticky note. Thanks for the wake-up call. Found peace. Hope you do too. If not with each other, then somewhere far away. That was the end. No more calls, no more messages. Just silence. The purest revenge. Letting them destroy themselves.